My guest is Rick Baker, but I have to ask you, did you see Star Wars, Peter?
I am among the few people in the world who have not seen Star Wars.
Well, few is right, because already in 7 months, it's the top money-making picture of all time. But I think most people who've seen it will remember one scene after they've forgotten the rest of the movie, and that's when the good guys go into this grubby cantina, and there they find themselves among the riffraff of the entire universe. And the man who created that riffraff is Rick Baker. All those monsters in that scene.
A riffraff creator.
A riffraff and monster creator. But before I ask you about that scene, Rick, because it seems like a specialized vocation, when did you start getting interested in monsters?
Well, when I was about 10, I was fascinated by monster movies and asked my father how they did that. You know, are those really monsters? You know, where do monsters come from? You know, he is a fine artist, you know, and he knew basically about it. And he said, oh no, that's makeup, you know, like your mother uses. So,
I'm not going to comment on your mother at all at this point.
Right.
Not at all.
So I said, hey, that might be kind of fun to do, you know. So I got some grease paint and smeared it on my face and put pie dough on my face and all that kind of stuff, you know, and just started playing with it.
Were you scared of monsters as a kid? Well, I was terrified. I went to see a movie called Them that featured giant ants.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I had nightmares for 5 nights. My parents were ready to send me to a psychiatrist.
I was never really frightened by monsters. I just was fascinated with them. You know?
When did you decide it could be turned into something you could do for a living?
Well, at first I kind of was thinking of being a doctor, you know. I had this weird fantasy that I'd be a doctor, then I would make my own monster, you know. And then I realized that doctors don't make monsters, you know, at least not intentionally. So I, you know, decided, hey, maybe, you know, I should be a makeup artist, you know. And I was about 13, I guess, then when I decided I'm going to be a makeup man when I grow up.
Now, where did the gorillas come into this? Because you were, for a long time, interested in gorillas, too.
Yeah, about the same time, about 13 years old, I said, hey, a gorilla is the closest thing to a real live monster that I could find, you know. And I thought it was possible to do a man-in-a-suit gorilla suit that was convincing. So I started studying gorillas and became very fascinated with the animal, because it's not at all what people think. You know, Hollywood,
how do you mean?
Well, Hollywood has given gorillas this savage, rape women kind of image, you know, and it's not true. They're very passive vegetarians. They don't fight, you know, they just kick back and relax and take it easy, you know, and have babies. Yeah.
So this self-taught knowledge that you got from the gorillas led you into King Kong, as Peter said.
Yeah, basically, because
What did you do for King Kong? This is the Dino De Laurentiis production of King Kong.
Well, I was King Kong.
Well, I thought that there was a 40-foot thing he had built.
Yeah, that's true.
It was King Kong.
$2 million, 40-foot mechanical gorilla that's in about 6 shots of the picture. 2 shots are behind his back.
And you're King Kong in the rest of the movie?
I built the gorilla suit and played King Kong for...
Inside that suit?
For 9 grueling months.
What was it like being inside the suit?
It's damn hot.
Was it like, you know, in Star Wars, there's C-3PO, who is the golden robot. Now, was there a man inside of him, too?
Yes, there was, Anthony Daniels. I did some feet for him when they put their footprints in Grauman's Chinese Theater, because he just wore kids' tennis shoes under his robot shoes, you know. And they didn't want kids imprinted on the thing, you know. So when I met Anthony, we compared notes, you know. I'd say, you know, I sweated off 5 pounds a day, you know. He goes, I had 6 pounds a day I sweat off, you know, and kept things like that. You know, so he couldn't sit down in the suit, you know, and I could only walk 40 feet or I'd get stuck, you know. I had cables running up my back, so we had a lot of things in common.
Okay, now that we've talked about Star Wars, I'd like to see the slides.
Fine.
They should be coming up on this monitor over here if we have a chance. Now, what's that? This is in the bar, right?
In the bar, yeah. That's some of the aliens that we created there. The big fuzzy spider guy is George Lucas's favorite, the one in the center of the picture.
George Lucas was the director.
That's right. Just an assortment of crazy things that we did. We did about 30 of them.
Oh, how much did it cost to do this? Oh, who's this one?
This is actually a mask that I did about 3 years before Star Wars, and I just threw it in with the group, and they ended up featuring it before I thought they really would. You know, he doesn't really. His name's Louis. That's what we call him for some reason.
Okay, and what? See if we can have another one.
This is the band, the Cantina band, and these guys are actually my crew, the guys that helped me make the monsters, and they're playing these instruments here.
Are there any women monsters?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that devil creature was one of the secretaries out at ILM where they did the effects. When it came to the day to shoot the monsters, you know, they said, we need volunteers, so there's about 200 people volunteered, you know.
Okay, if we can see the next one.
There we go. This is the hammerhead guy off here to the right of the screen, and a couple other crazy things.
And oh, there's one, yeah, that hammerhead one, I think that's one of my favorites. It looks like one of those sawfish to me. Okay, those are enough of the slides. And now back to you. And that's a terrifying one. That one, I think that was in the back of that last slide, and that really scares me.
It's an interesting mask, I think.
Now, is it hot under there?
No, it takes some time to get hot. It's not as hot as a gorilla suit.
How were you pleased with the whole scene? Oh, I love the veins on the head and everything. I felt it was a little short, that scene, that it could have gone
Yeah,
longer.
it was. I mean, he didn't really want to exploit it. There's so much more we could do.
Why do you have these little metal things up there?
I just thought they would look nice.
So are
know.
you sort of half man, half machine? Or?
Yeah, something. You know, we have complete freedom. Aliens, you know, you have no idea what they are. Do I have to talk with this thing on?
No, you can take it off. Oh, that's wonderful. That's really marvelous.
It's wonderful, Peter, but it's not marvelous. It's frightening and shocking and a little bit horrifying. I was just starting to like Rick, and then all of a sudden, he turned into this thing before my very eyes.
There's something, I think it's the green veins that are really scary. Were any kids who watched Star Wars frightened by it?
Oh, I don't think so. I think they all enjoyed it. It was geared towards kids, you know, and they liked all that stuff. You know.
What are you going to do next?
Well, possibly I may do a film about Tarzan where I have to do lots and lots of ape suits. It's not definite yet. I did the Brian De Palma, the guy that did Carrie. I did his latest film, The Fury.
What did you do in that?
A lot of special effects, makeup, trick things. You know. A lot of people that bleed on cue.
How did you manage that, or is it highly technical?
It's technical, but I mean, for one shot, a woman, Fiona Lewis, a very beautiful woman, is levitated by this young boy that has a power, and he makes her spin while she's in the air, and blood starts pouring out of her eyes and her nose and her mouth and her fingernails and everything else, and just coats the room red with blood.
Rick,
Sounds charming.
Family picture.
can you create a monster right on the spot? Can you turn Peter Abrahams into a monster?
Oh,
Just as we end this segment.
jeez.
Well, we do have this.
Well, I could try.
This is another
we go.
little specialty, right?
This is another one of the Star Wars people.
I'll be going now.
Okay.
There I am, locked in.
All right. There you go.
There is my friend, colleague, and sometimes elf, Peter Abrahams, in the Rick Baker specialty.
Quite an improvement.
Thank you both very much. I want to welcome the affiliate stations who have joined us during this segment of the program. Assure you that the person sitting on my far left is indeed a person. And we're going to pause briefly, and I'll be right back.